Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Olivia, and today we're going to be talking about who I am as an educator. And we're going to be diving into a critical media literacy exploration of my teacher identity. I wanted to start by talking about media representations of teaching. Media representations of teaching often simplify or dramatize the profession, portraying teachers as either heroic saviors, think freedom writers, or ineffective figures, like the teacher from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which can distort public perceptions of the real challenges and complexities that educators face in the classroom. If you've never seen Boy Meets World, Mr. Feeney was so popular for his portrayal of a teacher that they kept him for all 7 seasons of the show ran. He followed the kids into college. Mr. Feeney fits this description of a savior figure, always coming to give his students the perfect piece of wisdom in a moment of need. Mr. Feeney does a great job showing clear lines between professional and personal life, yet he takes the time to understand his students so that when they are in moments of clear crisis, he shows up with timely sage advice. He goes above and beyond to support the kids' social awareness, self-awareness, and decision-making skills, modeling SEL practices that contribute to successful adulthood. Let's take a look at why he was so popular.
This is Google Pixel 9a with Gemini. It's free at Verizon, with plans starting at $30 a line. And this is Nicole asking, where the heck?
Sean, I can take care of myself, all right?
Mr. Hunter, this hitting thing, it's not nice.
I'm sorry, I'm just really frustrated.
Does that help your frustration?
Yeah. What'd you do that for?
Well, I'm frustrated too.
Why?
I'm frustrated to see 2 young men throw away a friendship.
Yeah, well, the way I see it, Mr. Feeney, you don't need friends. Okay, especially friends like him.
Then who do you count on, Mr.
Family. Your family is always there for you. Come on, Mr. Feeney, a guy like you with no friends, you gotta know it, right? I mean, you've gotta have a lot of family.
Well, actually, I have very little family in Philadelphia.
Yeah. So what do you do on holidays and birthdays?
I get together with a small circle of very close friends. It's really quite nice. We laugh, we reminisce. We take pride in each other, pretty much what you've always done with Matthews.
Yeah, but can't be the same as being a real family.
Oh, Mr. You don't have to be blood to be family.
Throughout the show, Mr. Feeney does a lot of smart things to turn his lessons into learning moments. These are some of the things I've learned from the show. Make sure you don't label students as bad kids. The kid isn't bad, the action is bad. It is important to make those individual connections early on in the school year so that you can recognize when something is off. And don't take an interruption during class personally. We are in control of our emotions, and we need to remind ourselves not to react. Mr. Feeney does a really good job at keeping things professional every single episode. Remember, none of us can really be Mr. Feeney, but we can model some of the social emotional skills that will help our students later in life. As Mr. Golden says, stay human. Another popular portrayal of a teacher in media that I personally have always admired because of her big heart is Miss Honey. If you've ever watched Matilda, you probably remember that nightmare of a principal, Miss Trunchbull. What you may not remember is that Trunchbull and Sweet Miss Honey are related, and it is hinted that Miss Honey is so kind because she knows what it's like to grow up in a traumatic and possibly abusive environment. Miss Miss Honey is a model teacher for trauma-informed learning environment. She is very aware that the students can only thrive in a safe, caring, and predictable environment. Let's take a look.
Taco night? It's our
My teacher.
Run, run! Faster! Begin! Quickly! But Matilda's teacher, Miss Honey, was one of those remarkable people who appreciate every single child for who she or he is.
Just do that for you, Thank you, Amanda. Okay, listen up, everybody. We have a new student with us today. This is Matilda Wormwood. I'd like you to sit over here with Lavender. Now, you all remember how scary your first days at school were, so I'd like you to be especially nice to Matilda and make her feel welcome, all right? Could you get her work for her, please? Yes, Miss Honey. You can sit down.
Miss Honey was a wonderful teacher and a friend to everyone. But her life was not as simple and beautiful as it seemed. Miss Honey had a deep, dark secret. Though it caused her great pain, she did not let it interfere with her teaching.
You've come on a very good day. We're going to review everything that we've learned so far. Now let's go.
After reflecting on Miss Honey's role in Matilda, I was reminded of these trauma-informed pedagogical practices. For one, social and cultural issues can impact the way our bodies respond to the world. This can be anything from cultural stereotypes to economic disparities. Students who have experienced trauma view the world as a dangerous place, and that can trigger survival responses. Environments should have predictability so that they feel safe. And teachers have a critical role in reducing negative effects of trauma by creating a trusting, caring, and responsive environment to their needs. Now, how is this going to relate to my classroom? Above all else, I want to create a safe space and build positive teacher-student relationships. SEL practices and trauma-informed practices are really important to me. But it goes beyond that to create a welcoming classroom. I also need to establish clear expectations, foster collaboration, cooperation, incorporate student voice and choice, and embrace diversity and inclusion in my class so that every student feels seen. In summation, my goal is to shape a classroom centered on care. Both of these representations, both Mr. Feeney and Miss Honey, spoke to me because they show a high level of emotional intelligence and a deep care for the well-being of their students. Social emotional learning and trauma-informed learning practices are at the center of a teaching environment that benefits the class as a whole. Affirming learning environments, a space where all students feel valued, respected, and supported in their identities and abilities, start with open communication and a sense of belonging. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.